This is Steve Ridgel, and our grandson Jake's graduating from high school, and so at Hillcrest, where we go to church, they give all the seniors a Bible, and we all write in their Bible. And so Mimi and I are writing in Jake's Bible, and I talked before about Mimi wrote in the Bible her favorite verse out of Psalms 118, about today's the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in that. So I wrote what's my favorite verse, and it actually started years ago when my wife and I did cousin camp for all five of our grandkids when they were little. And she'd have a memory verse every year, and one year it was Joshua 1:9, and that has become one of my favorite verses. I use it all the time. It's when Joshua encouraged the people, be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. I want Jake to have that. I want my granddaughter, Anna, who's also graduating this year, I want her to know that verse. I want my other three grands to know that verse. I want people we convert, we use for that verse. I send it to some of my brothers in prison. I use that verse a lot to encourage. I use it to encourage me because I do want to be strong in the Lord. I do want to be courageous. I want them to be courageous. I don't ever want anybody to be foolish for the gospel, but I do want my kids and my grandkids, I want them to be courageous for the gospel. I don't want them so afraid to take risk. And by that, I don't even mean necessarily physical risk, but spiritual risk. I want them to have the courage to talk to people about Jesus. I want them to have courage to speak up when a brother's about to make a horrible mistake. I want them to have the courage to stand for their convictions in Jesus. I want them to be courageous about what God says when the whole world, sometimes even people that would be Christians, say that's not, the Bible doesn't mean what it says, or the Bible doesn't say what it means, or whatever. I want them to be courageous in their life, in everyday life, encountering people, and I want them to be courageous enough to ask God to take them wherever He wants them to go. I want that kind of courage among them. And you have to be strong to have that kind of courage. I don't want them to be scared. I don't want them to live life afraid. What's happening in the world and what's Satan going to do, and how I want them to learn to, trust God because He's always with them. I don't ever want them to be discouraged. I want them to know because of Jesus, because of God, it's always going to be okay. And so I'm writing in Jake's Bible right by Joshua 1:9 that's the verse I try to live by, and I want him to live by. Be strong, be courageous, don't be afraid, don't be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And that's a good lesson for all of us.